Hello, I'm Doke. I'm the editor of Recruiter magazine and recruiter.co.uk. This is the latest in Annapurna HR's series on the future of resourcing. And today we have Greg Allen, Global Head of Resourcing at Lloyds Register, with us, and we're going to be talking about resourcing in 2050.
I think it will be quite different to where we are now. I think because companies most probably won't have offices, I think it will be a lot more virtual, a lot more based on where we live rather than where the company is. So I think we'll be looking at resources more globally. I think what will happen is, rather than looking for the right person for the job, we would actually have to make sure the job was actually correct for the person we'll go out to. So a lot of the time, whereas we'll look at a people profile, we wouldn't know what sort of person we would look at to do a role. We'll take the role out to market and expect the people in the marketplace to actually say, that is something I would want to do. So rather than having job boards where people apply to do the role, they would actually apply to actually say, I will take on this piece of work from where I am for this period of time. So I think it will be very much an at-will sort of contract. It will be more contract focused. And if anything, it will be about how do we market the work we want to be done on a global community. Yeah, I think that will be very much the case, because the people will be looking for their role or their next role, because I think a lot of where we'll be in 2050 is not permanent jobs. I think it will be, I'm ready to look for my next contract, I'm ready to look for my next piece of work. So I think people could get more specialised, or people could stay quite generalist. So it will be dependent on what the sort of work is, rather than what's the company culture like, where is the company based, what will the company do for me. The recruitment piece wouldn't be about, here's a job, are you interested? It will be about, where is the talent? Are we having a conversation with them? Are we engaging with them? So when we're ready to use them, we can actually say, we have this piece of work, are you interested in doing it? And once we've finished, we either move back from that sort of talent in the marketplace and put them back into the field, or we actually have to work on how we engage them to then do the next piece of work, the next piece of work, the next piece of work. I think whereas we have a view of, how do we train and how do we develop our staff, how do we look at, what's important to them, that will become not hearsay but a real say. We will need to actually understand what the talent is doing, and that's what the conversation part would be in the social mobility, is understanding what people are looking for, what they want. What's the trade-off between having a virtual workforce and actually having people stay on, so that when you look for the next piece of work, you know where these people are. Learning and development will be an important part. Where you can offer the roles, what extra roles you can offer in terms of diverse skill set, and maybe even how we link up as corporations to actually say, we've got this real great guy, he's finishing with us, do you want to use them over here? And actually engage people by broking them into other companies, so that when we need them, you broke them back in. I think one of the main restrictors is the Babel Tower will be language. Well, what language is the business working in? So we will be looking at, so if it's a French company wanting a French piece of work, will it be in French or will it be in English? Is English going to be the fundamental business language? It could be Spanish, it could be, in 2050, it could be Chinese. So, or it could be Esperanto. They could go back to what was a made-up business language and see if it works this time. Now everything that everything is in a row and the business is driving for this more virtual world, it might be that we need to have a more uniform language. I would say yes, that there would still have to be an HQ. There still would have to be the head office where the strategy was being developed. How then that was resourced will be what will be the fundamental point. Whereas recruitment sometimes in HR is seen as the underdog, I think it will become the leader in human capacity planning and human resource planning. All of this will drive recruitment in the HR initiative. Knowing that you've got the right people in the right place at the right time will become fundamental for your competitive edge and the delivery to your business strategies. My greatest passion is the conversation. I think sometimes, even today, we go out to market taking a risk. I think part of what really excites me in the new sort of social, or the SOLO-MO, the social location mobility piece, is having a conversation, is being able to drill down as to where that talent is. And we can do that now. I think part of what we're looking at as well in 2050 is, as a Gen X, sometimes social media is a worry. We think about, you know, should we give out so much data? Should we be using our Facebook for work? That's a Gen X mentality. I think Gen Y are slowly saying, well, that's fine, just add in, share, because they know how to use the technology. They know how to shut down the security levels to who sees what. And I think part of where we'll get to in this conversation is, how do we maintain the like? How do we maintain the conversation? Because they can just switch us off at the touch of a button as we move forward. So that is the part I'm passionate about. What concerns me now is more what is restricted by baby boomer generation and Gen X, in terms of, you know, we need to be in an office, we need to be teamworked, we need to do all this sort of stuff. That might not be the landscape for Gen Y, and definitely not for Gen Z, or as I call it, Gen M, which means Gen Mobile. I think that's what concerns me, is that we are restricting going forward based on where we feel we should be now. We should be thinking about how Gen X works and how Gen Z will work. And they may not want to sit in one room, they may not need to get together, they may not need to do a lot of what we think today are the rules to how we do business.
Virtual workplace, corporate structure, where? What have you taken away today from our conversation? I think what I've taken away is that language threatens to be the biggest restrictor on some of the most exciting developments in resourcing and the workplace, frankly, in many, many years. We'll see you next time.